Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Inspiration for Today, for this Wednesday. We are just starting our study of God. Now, that is the God of the Bible, the God who has revealed himself in this book, and a study on what we call his attributes. An attribute is a description of a part or something that God has said about himself. And we want to have an accurate view of God whenever we talk to him or worship him. We need that, actually. And so yesterday we started by talking about his wisdom. Today we're going to talk about his infinitude. That is, that he, our Lord, is infinite. Now I got to tell you, this is an extremely important aspect of God. But it's a very hard one for us to understand. And you know why? We are not infinite. And nothing we know is really infinite. What is infinite? Something to be infinite. Well, here's a good definition as it pertains to God. God knows no boundaries. He's without measure. By definition, of course, this is going to impact all the other attributes that we talk about. Because when God is infinite, then everything about him is infinite. How do we know that he is? That means there is no number. There is nothing that can contain him. There's nothing. He knows no ends. That's why in Revelation chapter 1, at verse 8, God says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. The Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. The beginning is in him, the end is in him. Now for finite man, that is tough principle, a tough idea even, for us to grasp. I go to in 1 Kings chapter 8 at verse 27. And this is Solomon as he's dedicating the temple. They finally got it constructed. And in verse 27 he says, but will God really dwell on earth? The heavens, even the highest heaven, cannot contain you, Lord. How much less this temple I have built. That is phenomenal understanding on his part. Even the heavens cannot contain you, Lord. Nothing can contain him. He's infinite. He knows no bounds. And as I said, if he is infinite, then everything about him is infinite. And the psalmist makes this point in Psalm 147. Let's make this our verse for today. Psalm 147 at verse 5. Great is our Lord, and mighty in power. His understanding has no limit. Other translations actually translate that verse, his understanding is infinite. Infinite. If one part about him is infinite, then he is infinite. So the Bible is very, very clear on this principle. How can we understand it, though? What is an infinite number? Or what is infinity? Other than Buzz Lightyear, who says, to infinity and beyond. What's nothing beyond infinity? You know, when I try to grasp this, the immenseness of God, as in many cases, I go to the ocean. It's my go-to place, as if you watch this show, you know. So yesterday I just went down to Dana Point just to get a feel. And one of the things about my picturing of infinity is the horizon. So I just took these shots that you'll be seeing of the ocean. And what I see when I look out there is that the ocean appears to have no end. When I look off into the distance and look how the sea just blends into the sky. It appears to the human eye that it's infinite, that it just goes forever. But if you go out there that way, you're going to come to land sometime. Then I turn the camera to the seashore. And I know these pictures, I'm a little bit a ways, but I started picturing, I used to think that the number of sand, the number of particles of sand was infinite. And look at even the length of this one beach on one state, it's immense. I cannot imagine the number of grains of sand that there are on that beach. But there is a number. And you can add that number to the number of grains of sand on every beach in the world. And it's some number. Even that is finite. That's how amazing God is. He's more than that. He's way more than that. He's infinite. And the other thing that's often do, and I go out at night and I look up at the stars. And astronomers tell me that the universe, as massive as it is still expanding. And that the things are going out. I don't understand that. But that tells me that wherever it's expanding to, God is bigger than that, and He's already there. He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. My God, and I pray your God, is beyond anything we can imagine. Now, the way that impacts us, even just in the one other attribute we've talked about, we've only talked about two so far, wisdom and His infinitude. But that means that God's wisdom is infinite. It knows no end. It never ends. You don't need to worry about things that are happening because God has it in His control. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But His understanding knows no limit. We're going to also come to the attribute in just next week, I believe, on His love. Don't ever doubt His love for you. Because why? His love is, just like wisdom, it's infinite. It knows no end. That's how much you can't, some people say, and I know it's a good illustration that Jesus loved us this much. That's a great saying, and He did in one sense. But the fact is, you can't put a length or amount or anything that limits in any way His love for you. He loves you beyond anything that your mind can comprehend. I find that just so amazing. Don't you? I am so glad God... Actually, this makes sense that He is infinite, because for Him to do all that we have seen and even the things we've looked at today, I tell you, I am in awe of God, and that's what we should be. If our God was a little tiny God, we wouldn't be that way, but He's not. He is infinite. Well, I hope you tune in tomorrow. We're going to look at what God is truly like. I am in love and in awe of Him. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have another exciting show. Bye for now.